Hey everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. The fact that you are willing to sacrifice a few minutes out of your day to consume my content really does mean the world to me. We are now here on the second to last episode of Doctor Who, and I've got to say, I've got mixed feelings about this episode. But before we dive into that, I just want to say sorry that this video is coming out a little bit later than expected. Honestly, the last 24 hours have been a massive stuff up. In fact, I literally can't even find my Doctor Who scarf. The exact same scarf I have worn in every single Doctor Who video I've done of this season. Can't find it. So that's just like the cherry on top of things that have just gone wrong today. But yes, guys, as I mentioned, this episode, I've got mixed feelings about it. And I understand it is the first of two parts. Of course, not everything's going to be resolved. Of course, we're going to have a lot of questions. But I found myself sitting there feeling a lot more worried than anticipated, if that makes sense. But yes, I feel like we're going to have a good discussion about this in the comments. I feel like this is one that's going to cause quite a bit of discussions among fans. So first things first, and it's actually just a perfect coincidence that I happen to be wearing my leather jacket, but the Doctor has continued to wear different outfits in every single episode, and I'm still, again, in two minds about that, because I do love the fact that each Doctor has their own unique sense of style. But you know what? He was wearing a jacket very similar to this. White shirts as well, so I'll let it slide. In fact, I actually like that quite a bit. And as I mentioned earlier, this is actually the second to last episode of the season. And I feel like we've spent next to no time with Ncuti Doctor. I mean, yes, we've only got, if I'm not mistaken, 8 episodes this season, which is 5 episodes shorter than the standard 13-episode Doctor Who series. And on top of that, we had 2 very Doctor-light episodes, that being 73 Yards and Dot and Bubble. So I really feel like we haven't had enough time to really just spend time with the Doctor and with Ruby Sunday, which is disappointing because I feel like if they had a stronger relationship, an episode like this would be so much more impactful. We're looking at a story between Ruby and the Doctor, a story that's ultimately lasted her whole life because he was there that first night on Ruby Road. This is an incredibly personal story with someone's complete identity on the line. Ruby's trying to figure out who her mother is, where she came from, and she's almost going on this journey with a stranger because, truth be told, her and the Doctor have only really spent 5 episodes worth of time together. So yes, I've enjoyed majority of the season. I just genuinely think it's been too short. And I hope that moving forward we do get longer seasons. I just want to talk about the whole Susan situation for a little bit. It was set up very interestingly that this might have been the Doctor's granddaughter. And honestly, the relationship between Susan and William Hartnell's Doctor has always been one of my favorite companion pairings. I've always loved that. And so that was very interesting for me to dissect because this version of the Doctor is a stark 180 to William Hartnell's Doctor. And so I actually genuinely got very, very excited at the thought that this might be Susan. And so the twist, I did not see it coming at all. And it fits in perfectly with kind of like the god situations and the deity villains that the Doctor's been facing lately. But I can't help again but feel disappointed. Because I think the setup was exciting. And if we were expecting a Susan reveal, I can understand that a lot of people would be disappointed by that. Because last thing we know, if you read the extended lore of Doctor Who, it is that Susan probably died in the Time War. I mean, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of it. So yes, again, that's what I've got to say. Like, this is another situation where I feel I've got mixed feelings about it. I would have loved to have seen Susan come back, but I was very surprised by the reveal of Sutek. That was a very interesting swap, and I enjoyed that. Oh, and we finally got a proper Doctor Who, like with Susan. I thought that was cool. We haven't gotten a Doctor Who for quite a while, and I understand. For a while, it was like the whole crux. Like for the 50th anniversary, it was just Doctor Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. But I do like it when they drop a Doctor Who every now and again. I mean, if someone's running up to you saying, I'm the Doctor, you're going to say Doctor Who. So I'm glad we actually got that in this episode. But then again, we spent a lot of time with Unit. And again, my feelings about Unit continue to be... And that's going to be a lot of this episode. Sorry, I did warn you guys. Unit... I love Unit from the John Pertwee era, and I loved it when they had their pop-ups and their adventures with David Tennant. But Unit has started to feel like a bit of a family show at the moment. Like, whenever we get in there, everyone's just happy and smiles and laughing. It's a top secret government organization that deals with larger than life situations and death and destruction and alien invasions and all of the terrifying stuff. Like, it's supposed to be a hectic organization, yet it's every time anyone from Unit shows up, it's kind of like, oh, look, it's Unit, yay! And I love callbacks, and I like a fun Doctor Who story, but it was very distracting, especially in this episode. And I don't understand why Rose is there. And Rose, her placement in this episode felt so unnecessary, and attention is always drawn to her character. There's literally a scene where the scene stops so that someone can compliment Rose on her appearance. I understand why they're doing that. We all know why they're doing that. And some people agree with why they're doing it. Other people will disagree. But it's not a natural human response. They kept putting Rose in front and center when she added absolutely nothing to this episode. Again, I've got mixed feelings about that. And you guys will know my complicated feelings about that because I've spoken about it on a variety of different videos. But comment down below your thoughts and feelings on that, because we're going to have a continued discussion about Rose. But yeah, there was just a few scenes that also just felt like weird exposition where they didn't need to be, or could have been handled much better. The script writing left me feeling again. And I know this is becoming a crux in this video, but I've got a lot of mixed feelings about this. The Legend of Ruby Sunday left me going, you know what, I want to know more about her setup, her life. There's still so many questions from 73 yards that need answering, and I want these answers, or these questions to be answered, and we got none of that in this episode. And with a title like The Legend of Ruby Sunday, I was kind of hoping we would have some answers. I understand why we don't. I know it's a two-parter, and I know that a lot of our questions will be resolved in the next episode. Well, at least I hope. This was very much just a setup episode for what's going to come next week. I don't necessarily enjoy how all of the setups were handled, but I can understand that we have to look forward to what's happening next week. And I am actually looking forward to what's happening next week. Next week looks very, very exciting. There's a ton of stuff to look forward to. I just hope it doesn't let us down. Again, this is a very short season. I feel like the character developments are where they need to be. I feel like the Doctor and Ruby really needed to spend more time together. But you know what? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I am looking forward to it. So yes, guys, I'm in two minds about this episode. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Do not be afraid to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It would mean the world to me. And I hope to see you guys again in the next video.